fun today. A battle in the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles are flying high, and they are here in Dallas to take on the Dallas Cowboys. We welcome you inside Texas Stadium. I'm Joe Buck along with Troy Aikman. And Troy, we were there last weekend on Sunday in Kansas City. 31 straight points from the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's throw. They've got to run the ball at some point, the Eagles, and I guess we'll wait and see when that happens.
Yeah, well, or do they? You know, if you talk to Andy Reid, and as great as Donovan McNabb has been playing, it's been very impressive the way that he's been able to throw the ball. They've had terrific success throwing the football, but if you look at what Donovan McNabb has done historically here at Texas Stadium, he has struggled, and a lot of the reason for that has been because Dallas has decided to play coverage. If they do that today, I could certainly expect to be the day today that they run the football a little bit more than certainly we've seen in the last couple of weeks.
One other note is for Dallas, their starting middle linebacker and leading tackler Datwin is out with a neck stinger, so that might lead Philadelphia to run the ball more. On the other side, you've got the Cowboys. The last minute has basically decided all 4 of their games so far, and really even at this point in the year, they're still trying to figure out what kind of team they are.
Yeah, and I think that if you look at those games as to why they came down to the fourth quarter, it's because they got off to such a slow start. Dallas Cowboys have not scored any points in the first quarter, and so the key for them today is going to be getting off to a fast start, and part of being able to do that is going to be getting Julius Jones involved in this running game, because he has struggled here in recent weeks, and if they get into a position to where Drew Bledsoe has to throw the ball, they're going to have some problems against this Eagles defense.
And that's really not what Drew Bledsoe was brought in here to do. I mean, Bill Parcells knew his limitations when he brought him here to Dallas. And coming into this season, it was not supposed to all rely on Bledsoe. They thought they could ride Julius Jones, who had that great rookie year back in 2004. You look at the storylines coming into the game. The Eagles on the road since 2000 under Andy Reid, the best in the NFL. How about this note? The Eagles have won 9 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams by an average of over 20 points. And Terrell Owens, with his next touchdown catch, will get to the century mark. Andy Reid, 4 straight NFC Championship games, to the Super Bowl last year. Still waiting to win the big one for the city of Philadelphia. Dallas will start with a football, and Tyson Thompson, who's from Irving, lost the football in the sun, picks it up, and off he goes. Todd France, the kicker, brings him down at midfield. Talk about a good open field tackle by a kicker. France had him squared up and brought him down, and it's a good thing for the Eagles.
Well, Tyson Thompson, he's able to get the ball after it hit the ground, fortunately for the Dallas Cowboys, and here he really is one-on-one on Todd France. Todd France actually does a good job of not waiting for Tyson Thompson. He goes and gets him, and I think as a result of that, saved the touchdown.
They marked him down at the Dallas 49. Bledsoe wide open is Glenn. "20 yards for a first down."
Well, Dallas in attack mode early. They're going to run Jason Witten on an inside curl, and because of that, it opens up the lane behind him to Terry Glenn. He just gets Lito Shepherd turned around. You've got to believe that the speed of Terry Glenn is going to be a factor all day, both getting down the field vertically, but then also being able to open up some of those intermediate routes.
A blitz on first down. The Cowboys pick it up. Bledsoe fires. It's Glenn again with a catch for a first down inside the 20, out at the 18.
I think Dallas coming into this game knows that Philadelphia, with their inside game and Jeremiah Trotter, that they want to loosen them up a little bit with the passing game. This time Sheldon Brown is asked to cover Terry Glenn, and Terry Glenn uses his speed again, getting out of the route. On the outside there, Rob Petiti, the rookie right tackle, is going to be getting help all day. This time Jason Witten helping out on Javon Curse. First run of the day, Julius Jones gets to the 15. That's it.
picked up 3. Let's take a look at the offense and the offensive line. Troy already mentioned Rob Petitti, the rookie at right tackle. He will get a lot of help today. And then the back is Julius Jones. And while he's 4th in the NFC in rushing yards, the running game for the Cowboys has not been good enough to this point in the season.
And I don't think it's all because of Julius Jones, and I don't think it's all because of the play of the offensive line. It just seems that each play when they've run the football, particularly last week, one guy was having a mistake.
Bledsoe with plenty of time, end zone. Glenn for the touchdown. And so much for not throwing it all on the right shoulder of Drew Bledsoe. He just took him down the field, hooking up with Glenn 3 times.
Jim Johnson told us the other day the guy that scares him the most for the Dallas Cowboys is Terry Glenn, and yet he was given 3 easy receptions on the opening drive. You've got to remember, this is the first points that Dallas has scored all season in the first quarter.
Cortez doesn't have to be worried that Larry Allen will get in his face. He knocks the extra point through. Dallas had come in, outscored 24-0 in the first quarter, and they go right down the field. Bledsoe and Glenn hooking up, 3 for 3 for 49 yards to get the Cowboys into the end zone and a lead of 7-0 with less than 2 minutes gone.
And you know, when we visited with Drew Bledsoe and you asked him why they had gotten off to so many slow starts over the first 4 games of the season, and you know, he just said we've got to create some more urgency, and he wasn't implying that they necessarily had to come out and throw the football more, but there had to be more urgency with what they were doing, and they did come out on this first possession, threw the football, 1 running play, and I know Drew Bledsoe's happy to be putting it in the air like that.
So you look at the Eagles defense, the vaunted defense of Jim Johnson. They're playing in their 5th game. They've now allowed 21 points on their opponent's first possession. So really, these are 2 teams that have struggled early in games, and that was evident last week with the Philadelphia Eagles falling behind at Kansas City by 18 points, at one point rattling off 31 straight and winning by 6. It's now Dexter Wynn returning kicks. Maybe next time. Down in the middle of all that noise on the field is Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, last week it was Randy Moss, and today the Dallas defense will have its hands full with yet another premier receiver. Terrell Owens leading the league in catches and yards, but if you listen to the Dallas defense, they say they won't do anything special to defend the guy today. Bill Parcells tells us the best way to handle T.O. and the guy so effectively delivering him the ball is to cover them after you cover them. That could be smart, though, Joe, because T.O., 200 yards after the catch, tops in the NFL.
All right, Pam, and that's something we'll keep track of this afternoon.
And when Pam talks about Bill Parcells saying we have to cover him after we cover him, what she means by that and what Bill Parcells meant is that because Donovan scrambles so much and creates plays, that you've got to be able to stick with those receivers in coverage.
It's T.O. lined up in the backfield. So they move him around, and McNabb has nowhere to go except down in the arms of Ware.
DeMarcus Ware, who has been very good in pass rush here over the last several weeks, working against Trey Thomas one-on-one, and Donovan McNabb had some time. It was actually pretty good protection, but he was looking for Terrell Owens, and you've got Brady James in good coverage. I would credit that one on good coverage by Dallas as opposed to poor pass protection on Trey Thomas's part.
Brady James now takes over as the quarterback out. 2nd and 19. McNabb steps up and goes deep. Lewis overthrown. And Donovan McNabb showed just how big his arm is with that throw.
And this time he had a little bit more time, but it's because Brian Westbrook comes out and he's going to help on DeMarcus Ware. Trey Thomas is on him again. You see the chip right there by Brian Westbrook. Expect that throughout the day. They are not going to allow DeMarcus Ware to continually be a disruptive force back there on Donovan McNabb.
We saw that in the pregame show with Michael Strahan with their little on the field. I did.
Did you learn anything?
I did. I learned that Jimmy Johnson can chip as a back. Coming up and helping. It's 3rd down and 19. Timeout, Eagles. Well, last week you and I were stunned at a couple of things in that Philadelphia-Kansas City game. A, Kansas City didn't try to feature Tony Gonzalez. And now today they'll be dealing with another great tight end, Jason Witten. And B, just how wide open Terrell Owens was down the field time after time. He probably had his best day with Donovan. 11 catches, 171 yards, and a touchdown.
And the reason Philadelphia was able to get him the ball so frequently last week against Kansas City is because they do an unbelievable job of moving him around. It's no secret when you're playing Philadelphia that Donovan's going to try to get the ball into Terrell Owens' hands. He's had more balls thrown to him than any other receiver in football after 4 weeks of the season. We saw the first play of the game, Terrell Owens lining up in the backfield. We'll see that a lot as we move through the day, all the various positions that he ends up in before the snap of the ball.
You start to see some of those finals scroll across. Tennessee with a win over Houston as the Texans' struggles continue. And that baseball score. Atlanta trying to force a game 5 back at home. Blew a 6-1 lead in that game. McNabb on 3rd and 19 over the middle. Underthrows Owens. Donovan says, my fault, don't get mad at me, T.O. Let's go to JB for a game break.
Nobody can get mad at you, Joe Buck. Take a look at this here. Atlanta had trailed by 15 and was knotted up, but that man with the foot, Adam Vinatieri, boots home the winning field goal for New England, 31-28. Patriots do it. Back to a busy Joe Buck.
And Buck can get mad at me, JB. Don't kid yourself. Dirk Johnson hangs it high, and it's Creighton on the return. Nice move. Good return. 42-yard line. Great starting field position inside Philly territory for Dallas. Their season review. Week 1, Keyshawn Johnson puts them ahead to stay out in San Diego. Week 2, Moss burns them with 2:44 left. The cardiac Cowboys come back with under 2 to go at San Francisco. And then last week on 4th down, Bledsoe threw to Glenn, but all anybody wanted to talk about after the game was that tight end Jason Witten was wide open on the other side.
Yeah, and it's all relative, I guess. If you talk to wide receivers, they're always wide open, and if you talk to quarterbacks, I don't know if he'd have made it or not. It would have been a challenged play had he have thrown it to Jason there in the end of the game last week.
Julius Jones cuts it back up the field and is brought down half a yard shy of the 40. Picked up 3. Sheldon Brown, the first one there for the Eagles. And we look at this defense now. This group with Patterson playing in place of Darwin Walker, that's one thing, but the depth has been challenged, and the Eagles, Troy, have had to add Keontae Marshall and Alonzo Jackson, a couple of backup defensive linemen.
Defensive line depth was a concern going into last week's game. It's even more so here today.
2nd down and 7. Bledsoe rolls out and skips one to Keyshawn Johnson. That'll bring up 3rd and long. So New England wins at Atlanta. The Falcons put up 28 points without Michael Vick in their lineup today.
That was a big win by New England, getting beat at home last week and playing with without some guys that are injured, and then going in and winning a game like that had to do a lot for their confidence.
Richard Seymour didn't play for him today. Another one went down. 3rd down and 7. Blitz. Bledsoe to Glenn. And Dawkins knocks him out a yard shy of a 1st down. Troy, you could see Philly coming up to blitz, and you also saw Glenn raise his hand to get Bledsoe's attention. That's where Drew went, but a yard shy of the 1st down.
Yeah, and the Eagles will do that a lot. When it's 3rd and long, they will try to get the offense to throw a quick route and then make the tackle prior to the 1st down. But right now, at 4th and 1, 4th and a short one, this is that in-between area, and it looks like they're going for it.
Would be a 52-yard field goal for Cortez. That would equal his career long. He's only ever attempted one over 50 yards. A toss Jones picks it up easy. Out of bounds at the 9. A daring call on 4th and 1, tossing it, and Jones picked up a ton. 25.
Excuse me. It looked like the Eagles defensively were a little bit confused on what they were trying to do, but you see the big hole there along the right side. That's the one run that Julius Jones has been waiting for. His longest run coming into this game, 14 yards. He felt that if he could get one big run going, that it would get him on track. We'll see what happens to him here on out.
1st and goal from the 9. Jones cuts it back. Patterson was waiting for him. No gain. So it's 2nd and goal from the 9.
And I think if you're Dallas, you got to feel pretty good with the way this first quarter has started. They open up, they go right down the field, they get the touchdown on 4 plays, they hold defensively, and then they get great field position, and now they're knocking on the door again.
Sean Payton calling the plays for Bill Parcells. What's it going to be on 2nd and goal? Second and goal, and the pass incomplete for Glenn, who already has a touchdown. We welcome in a new audience. The Cowboys took the opening kickoff, returned it up to their own 49 by the local legend Tyson Thompson, and then 4 plays later and 3 connections with Terry Glenn, Dallas was in the end zone. You see what Philadelphia did on their first possession, went backward, and now after a punt return by Creighton, here's 3rd and goal for the Cowboys, trying to add to a 7-0 lead. Eagles are 3-1, Dallas 2-2 to start the year. Bledsoe, Keyshawn brought down short of the goal line, knocked down at the 1. It'll be 4th down and goal. The Cowboys have already converted 1 4th down on this possession. Would they give up the points here?
Well, I think they're going to, Joe, and I don't disagree with the call. I mean, here you are at home against the big bullies of the NFC East. You get a chance to put them down 14-0 here in the first quarter. I think you've got to take advantage of it.
You see number 96, Marcus Spears, come in. He is a rookie defensive end. And it's 4th and goal. Spears at fullback. Jones doesn't get there. So the Cowboys pass up a chance at a chip shot 3 points. They go for it on 4th and goal from the 1. And Semino and Keontae Marshall, the newcomer, are there to make the stop for the Eagles. We take our first break of the day. The defense for Philadelphia holds. Philly has it down 7.
Confidence in those big guys up front. They just failed to produce, much like they failed last week in several of those short yardage situations against Oakland.
Quick setup and throw, and Terrell Owens has it thrown behind him by Donovan McNabb.
Well, here's a look at it. Hollis Thomas is going to be right here, and he's a big body, and you couldn't tell if it was Larry Allen who was supposed to take him or Flozell Adams, but neither did. He was the one who first initiated penetration, but even if Hollis Thomas doesn't make the play, there's 3 other Eagles right there to stop him short. They just got no push along that offensive line on that 4th down play.
In there for Philly, Keontae Marshall, a 7th-round pick from Grand Valley State, who just called up from the practice squad. Westbrook, nothing. And he's brought down inside the Philadelphia 1. That'll bring up 3rd down and 11.
Well, clearly Dallas would have liked to have scored the touchdown, but since they didn't, the key now is for this defense to be able to step up and stop Philadelphia right here. Philadelphia at 3rd and 12, 3rd and 11, they're just trying to do what they can to get a 1st down and give their punter some room to punt. It's a difficult spot to try to punt from if they don't pick up any yards.
Westbrook lines up as a wide receiver. McNabb trying to find him. It's up for grabs and incomplete. Westbrook lined up at the wide receiver spot at the bottom of the formation, the left side of the formation. McNabb was looking for him, couldn't get it to him, was then looking for a flag. There isn't one thrown, and it's 4th down and another punt coming from the Eagles.
Well, and the problem with when you're punting back here like Philadelphia is, the receiving team, they score on over 50% of their next possessions getting the ball with this kind of field position.
Dirk Johnson hits a pretty good one, and Creighton from his own 45 has some blocking. Gets it inside the 40. Ball comes out, and the Cowboys get back on top of it. A 54-yard punt and a 17-yard return by Creighton. It's Pierce who ends up with it for the Eagles 38. They whiffed on a 4th and goal. And they start their 3rd possession going for Glenn. Glenn! Touchdown! No flags. Well, to watch that play develop from up here and watch Glenn slow down just a little to time that perfectly, that was a beautiful throw and catch from Bledsoe to Glenn yet again.
Joe, just one-on-one outside. Terry Glenn going against Lito Shepherd, and I don't know if Lito Shepherd thought that he was going to run an out route, but he slowed up just enough, and Terry Glenn kept going, and Drew Bledsoe lays the ball out perfectly, but just not very good coverage so far early in this game by the Philadelphia Eagles.
An Eagles secondary that boasts 3 Pro Bowlers from a year ago. Shepherd was one of them. Glenn with his 34th career touchdown reception. 38 yards from Drew Bledsoe, and a great start for the Cowboys here at home over Philadelphia. Quarter. And they were almost run right out of the game last weekend in Kansas City. And Eagle fans are saying, here we go again. Out to the 26-yard line is Dexter Wynn. A return of 17 yards. So the Dallas defense set up that last touchdown, and now the Eagles go to work. Starting at their own 26, down by 14. McNabb sets up quick, hits Greg Lewis. And he can't get away from Henry, who slings him down on the sideline.
Well, you go back and take a look at the touchdown. Terry Glenn here, he's just running a straight streak route, and Lito Shepherd just doesn't respect Terry Glenn's speed. I know I said earlier, Jim Johnson coming in was very fearful of Terry Glenn and his big play ability. He has shown it each and every week, and he gets another big play here. And up front, this offensive line does a great job of picking up the twist and giving Bledsoe time. When he has time, he can throw it as well as anybody in the league.
This is Gordon. Lamar pushes the pile forward for an extra yard. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Gordon picked up 5.
You know, and Donovan McNabb, he's off to another slow start here today. 2 weeks ago against Oakland, he struggled there in the first half. Last week against Kansas City, he did as well. He says he needs to stretch before he gets out onto the field to try to get loosened up, but yet he's still struggling early in these games. We've already seen a couple of times here where he's had people open, and he just hasn't been able to get the ball into his hands, and you just wonder if maybe those injuries are affecting him now.
Julius Jones earlier had a bloody nose, lost a contact lens. That's why they're looking into his face. 3rd down and 2. Owens, what a good open field tackle by Roy Williams, the Pro Bowler. And another punt coming from the Eagles.
Well, Roy Williams, I mean, he's basically a linebacker playing the safety position, and the Philadelphia Eagles certainly understand that he likes being around the line of scrimmage and making plays. And you know, Terrell Owens is bigger than most people that come up and try to tackle him. He is not bigger than Roy Williams.
Owens had started that play in the backfield. They're just trying to get the ball into his hands and make him do something with it. After the catch, Creighton into Eagles territory again, and it's Dirk Johnson, the punter, who makes the tackle.
And I tell you what, Joe, I mean, already we've seen Todd France on the kickoff and the tackle he was able to make, and now you've got Dirk Johnson saving a touchdown.
Is that the first time you've ever said Dirk Johnson?
I think so, yeah.
Mark that. Possession. Indy with a 7-zip lead. San Francisco. Play action. Bledsoe hits his tight end Witten. Ronnie Jones on the coverage, and Witten is down to the 34, a gain of 16. But before Witten, it's been Terry Glenn all over the place for the Cowboys. That first possession, 3 completions. Overall, 5 catches on the day. 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. Reverse to Keyshawn. And Johnson doesn't get much. Lito Shepard forced him out. Curse was behind him. Loss, rather a gain of only 3.
You know, when Drew Bledsoe came here to Dallas, everybody said, well, Bill Parcells just wants you to be a bus driver and a game manager, don't want you to win the game, just don't lose it. And you look at what's happened the first 4 weeks. They've been in these games because of the arm of Drew Bledsoe. And then you look at what's taken place here in this first quarter and the job that he's done throwing the ball. You kind of get the feeling that if they're going to win this game, it's going to be on the arm of Drew Bledsoe.
2nd down and 7, and the pass to Witten. And already Witten's been more of a factor in this game than Tony Gonzalez was last weekend with Kansas City. Coming up after this game, the Angels at the Yankees. It's game 4 of that series. It's at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And Jared Washburn, the scheduled starter for the Angels, has been scratched with a throat infection. So they can't go to Bartolo Colon because he's still back out in California. So John Lackey will pitch on short rest against Sean Chacon. Yankees trying to force game 5 tomorrow night on Fox. Julius Jones. Jeremiah Trotter is there to make the stop. There isn't a better middle linebacker in the NFL, in my estimation, than Jeremiah Trotter.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. I mean, you look at his impact on this team and what he's meant to them, even going back to last year. It was against these Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football that he got his first start last season in the 8th game of the year. And since that time, they've been very good against the run. And he's a key part of that inside run defense. He does a great job blowing up the middle.
2nd and 10. Bledsoe wide open is Johnson. Keyshawn Johnson brought down by Trotter, but not before he picks up another Dallas first down. And the Cowboys are not only scoring points, but they are making moving the ball look very easy against this Eagles defense.
Yeah, and the other thing they're doing a good job of is they're blocking them up front, because that's what Philadelphia typically is able to do, is get pressure on the quarterback, and they give Drew Bledsoe time. And then Jeremiah Trotter looked like he just got lost in coverage. Keyshawn Johnson running a crossing route, and just nobody went with him.
That's like early 90s quarterback protection for the Cowboys. Bledsoe throws it away. Can you imagine what a quarterback could do with that early 90s kind of protection that the Cowboys used to provide here with that great offensive line? Might even get their name up in the Ring of Honor.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I don't care if it's Drew Bledsoe or Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or anybody else. If you give a quarterback in this league time to throw the football, they're going to pick you apart. I mean, there's some talented guys throwing the ball from underneath center, and you've got to get pressure on them. So far, the Eagles have not been able to do that.
2nd and 10. They'll try it with Jones. Cuts it up and just got tripped up, and a flag comes in. It lands right at the body of Larry Allen. The flag does, and it looks like a hold.
Holding. Offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty. Being 2nd down.
So they threw it at Allen, and it's Allen who's guilty. I saw your piece in the Sporting News talking about the difference now compared to just last year with the Green Bay Packers, when you don't have Wall at guard and you don't have Rivera, who's now here with Dallas. What a difference that's made for not only Brett Favre, who's been picked on left and right and had to have a huge day today for their big win, but Ahman Green as well.
Yeah, and Dallas is going through a little bit of that also with the addition of Marco Rivera and then Rob Petitti, 2 guys that are trying to blend in to what they're doing offensively.
2nd down and 20. Screen for Jones. Hollis Thomas can't get there. Jones has blocking in front of him, and he's out of bounds at the 4. Penalty flag is in back near the 27-yard line. And the officials talk it over.
Well, Jim Johnson, he goes out onto the field. I got to tell you, it's as demonstrative as I have ever seen Jim Johnson. I'm not sure exactly what he's upset about.
Illegal block in the back. Offense number 73. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's probably it.
Yeah, it was hard to tell whether or not he was upset with one of his own players or if he was upset with one of the officials.
They get Larry Allen on consecutive plays. And he blocked Hollis Thomas, who couldn't get to Julius Jones and probably wasn't going to get to Julius Jones in the back.
No, that's just not a very smart play by an all-pro player. And you know, Larry Allen, he got called on the previous play, and then Hollis Thomas wasn't going to get anywhere near Julius Jones, but just a bad decision by Larry Allen that hurt his football team.
It negates a 17-yard gain on that screen, and it brings up 2nd and 30 from the 31. Jones down inside the 20 to the 18. Michael Lewis on the tackle. He picked up 13.
You know, last week Jim Johnson acknowledged that he was just a step behind on his play calling against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it took until the second half before he was able to get into a rhythm. And Joe, I'm sensing the same thing here today, because Dallas has really had their way right now with Philadelphia defensively, and the Eagles, when they drop back and try to play coverage, the Cowboys are running the football with some success. They come up with an 8th guy, and then all of a sudden Dallas is taking advantage of the one-on-one matchups on the edges.
Back out of the blitz, and Bledsoe throws over the middle for Johnson. And that'll bring up a field goal attempt by the Cowboys as Johnson gets it just inside the 10, picked up 9, and it's 4th down.
Good job there by Drew Bledsoe, recognizing that it was going to be very difficult for him in order to basically have to score the touchdown in order to get a first down, and just knowing that get as many yards as you can and try to make this as easy a field goal attempt for Jose Cortez as possible.
Because nothing is automatic with this group. They have a new long snapper. Last week was Lata Sears last week, and Cortez made the team, makes this field goal because of an injury to the hip flexor of Billy Cundiff. So it's 17-0 with 19 seconds left in the first quarter at Texas Stadium. What a start for the Cowboys. 4 catches in 2002. 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns with Bledsoe with the Bills before signing a big deal with the Falcons, and that was a flop. Dexter Wynn gets to the 25, maybe. They're going to mark him down at the 24, and let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, you guys were talking about Peerless Price. Of course, he signed that 1-year contract after essentially being run out of Atlanta after a couple of ineffective years. It's a curiosity to a lot of people, but I spoke to Jerry Jones before the game about Price, and he said that it's not a matter of diminished talents. It's a matter of these younger guys behind Keyshawn and Terry Glenn stepping up. But Jones also indicated that Price is just a good insurance policy because Glenn hasn't been able to finish an entire season. Back to you.
Well, and you look at what Terry Glenn and Keyshawn Johnson have done here in the first quarter. I mean, I don't know that they need Peerless Price out there on the field.
14 seconds left in the first quarter. McNabb got to put it up, and he hits a wide open L.J. Smith, and the big tight end lurches forward. They're going to mark him at the 45 for the first down for Philadelphia. 7 seconds left in this quarter.
Well, it's a big drive for Philadelphia. That was their first down of this game. They entered the game with the 3rd most 3-and-out series in the National Football League, and that's part of the reason why they have struggled as much as they have early in games.
And they have to hope that L.J. Smith is okay after that catch. Terry Glenn sure is. What a first quarter he had, hooking up with number 11, Drew Bledsoe. 17-0 Dallas. Ankle of L.J. Smith. Pressure on McNabb, hangs in and hits Westbrook, who's inside Dallas territory, picked up 6. L.J. Smith, his 21-yard reception. To see this field turf and those rubber balls bouncing up, and right there he rolled over on his left ankle, and he looks to be in some pain over on the bench for the Eagles.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that they just can't afford to lose. When you consider his contributions, comes into the game as amongst tight ends with the most receptions, and his development, I believe, has been a big reason as to why this team has been as successful as they've been here early in the year.
Second down and 4, and McNabb floats one out, and that's going to be a flag. Lewis was being guarded by Henry.
It looked like Anthony Henry's trying to claim that his face mask was being grabbed and that it should be offensive pass interference.
But it won't be.
But it won't be.
Pass interference. Defense number 42. Spot foul. Automatic. First down.
So the Cowboys feel that they can come up and challenge Greg Lewis. You see the interaction there between Anthony Henry, and that's the call that they got. And I think Greg Lewis gives them the ability to get down the field, and when they come up and press him like they did, I think you can expect Donovan McNabb to take more shots down the field to his side.
McNabb comes into this game #1 in the NFL in passing yardage and touchdown throws. On first down, he completes another to Lewis. Lewis to the 25, first down Philadelphia. Game break, JB in LA.
Hey, Joe Buck, take a look here. Steve Smith, tell me he's not back in big fashion. Quick out to him. He blows by the defenders. It's a foot race, 65 yards to pay dirt. His 5th touchdown of the season. Carolina on top 10-7, looking to build on Monday night's victory over the Packers. Yeah, quick phone call. Did you see that? Yeah, big time. Back to Joe Buck.
Seems like we see him have a play like that about every other week, huh?
McNabb, a screen for Westbrook. Blocking in front, down inside the 20, but a flag comes in. The second-year player, Andrews, was there, and that's where they threw the flag in his direction. See if it's on Sean.
Holding. Offense number 73. 10-yard penalty. Deep first down.
You know, Sean Andrews is their right guard. He missed all of last season, just playing for the first time this year, but he can really run for a big guy, and he just got in behind, and that's another one of those. You see the hold. That's another one of those, like what they called on Larry Allen, to where the defender was not going to be able to get back into the play. He had no reason to make that penalty.
Number 73, they're going to throw a flag on you. That's his 4th holding penalty of the season. First-year starter. Roy Williams up on the line of scrimmage, backs out. And McNabb fires for Owens. Incomplete. McNabb wants a flag. The ball came down and hit the pylon. It's second down and 20. Aaron Glenn was back there for Dallas.
Well, and that's a matchup that the Eagles just have to be able to take advantage of. Aaron Glenn, he's a good corner, and he's a good acquisition for this Cowboy team. But when you've got one of the premier wide receivers in football one-on-one, you've got to be able to beat that guy, and it wasn't even close. Terrell Owens, who's got great speed, just wasn't able to get any separation and give Donovan anywhere to throw the football.
Glenn on the sideline, second down and 20. Four-man rush. McNabb slings it. Westbrook down to the 28. And it's 3rd and long coming up.
You know, you come into this game, Joe, talking about, well, this may be the game that the Eagles run the football a little bit more than what they've shown so far this season. And I really do believe that was their intentions coming in. But when you come in and you're down 17 points early, much like last week, all of a sudden it becomes another game where you're forced to throw the ball more than what you'd like.
It's the second straight week the Eagles have trailed 17-0. And it's 3rd and 13 here.
There's Westbrook at top.
McNabb in trouble. Fires to a wide-open Terrell Owens. How is he left alone? And a first down for Philadelphia And Owens slings the ball down and looks at the crowd here at Texas Stadium.
Well, everybody wonders, how can Donovan McNabb, when he's got a sports hernia and all the bruises and ailments that he has, but when the game's on the line and you got to make a play, I mean, this is what he's able to do. He still takes over with instinct, and this is what Bill Parcells was talking about when he said, once you cover a guy, you got to cover him some more, because when Donovan starts moving around, all of a sudden the receivers do a good job of creating separation, and they left Terrell Owens wide open.
In fact, Donovan said coming into this game, let Dallas blitz me. They'll find out I can still move around.
Well, he sure did there.
First and goal, Westbrook. Down just inside the 8. It wasn't exactly the 13-second, 60-yard bomb to Freddie Mitchell from a Monday night game a year ago, but it had that same feel to it, with McNabb making something out of nothing on 3rd and 13. And now it's 2nd and goal from the 8 for Philadelphia.
I still maintain that throw he made last year on Monday night against Dallas was the best throw that I have ever seen by any quarterback. Just phenomenal. And this is an important drive. That was a key play keeping this drive alive.
McNabb steps up. Going to try and run it. Gets it to the 4. And it's 3rd and goal. Scott Shanley, who has taken over at the middle linebacker position for Dat Wynn, was there for Dallas. 3rd down and goal.
And Donovan really does appear to be moving around pretty good. I know last week in Kansas City he looked to be doing pretty well. And the one thing about Donovan down here in the red zone is he makes very few poor decisions.
Is Dat Wynn on 3rd and goal. McNabb has time, and what a play. Brady James got his hand up and knocked it away from Gordon.
Pretty good stand in here by the Dallas Cowboys in the red zone, keeping Philadelphia from being able to come away with a touchdown. Good coverage right there. If that ball's more to the inside on Lamar Gordon, he's got a shot, but because the ball was high and behind him, that's where Brady James was favoring and was able to make a play.
Nothing automatic still with Todd France. Made his last 3 attempts last week. A windy day at Kansas City. And they may have found pretty good fill-in for David Akers and Todd France. He didn't panic last week after missing a 40-yarder, having one blocked. And waiting for it, Tyson Thompson already has one good return today. Now just shy of the 30. L.J. Smith, moments ago, limped off the field. That left ankle bothering him. Well, the Eagles have to play the rest of the day without their starting at their own 30. Bledsoe, he's rolled out a couple of times. Keyshawn Johnson is hit with a ball and then hit by Lito Shepherd. Broadcasting royalty here at Texas Stadium with us today. The great Pat Summer, all the best ever. 2nd down and 4 for Dallas. Play action from Bledsoe. Witten. Lewis forces him out after another big completion. 19 yards to Jason Witten, who's had a very good first half.
Well, and this is going to be one of the key points throughout the game, is how good a job do you do on Javon Curse. Again, they put a tight end over there with Rob Petiti and Dan Campbell to give Drew Bledsoe some time, and Jason Witten running a good route against Michael Lewis. And you know, I'm surprised. This secondary for Philadelphia is as good a secondary as there is in football, and yet the Cowboys have repeatedly gotten people open here in the first half.
Simply put, the Eagles secondary is better than this, and they're not playing well at all for the 2nd weekend in a row in the first half, as Julius Jones gets it to the 40 and picked up 5. I mean, you've got a Pro Bowl stock secondary with Dawkins, Lewis, Shepard, Brown. The backups are good, Hood and Wynn, and they can't cover anybody.
And I think what it kind of shows you, Joe, is that when you give a quarterback time and you're not able to get pressure, it's hard to cover these people. And you know, last week Sheldon Brown was the one who was able to turn it around by returning that interception for a touchdown. They're going to need a similar play here.
Green Bay puts up 52 points on New Orleans. 2nd down and 5. Julius Jones kicks it to the outside and now cuts it back up for a first down. Picks up 8. JB with another game break on a busy Sunday.
Joe Buck, Denver captain, 11-play, 78-yard drive with this little fade pattern plumber.
It'll be hard-pressed to win in Denver. Look at the Giants start. They're off. Philadelphia 3-1 and Dallas 2-2, but a fast start here today against the Eagles. And they've got the Giants in here next week. This might be a free play for the Cowboys. N.D. Kalu came across early.
There's no intentional grounding as the quarterback was out of the pocket.
And this should be an offside against Philadelphia.
Offside. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
N.D. Kalu came off a little bit earlier, and you just got to wonder just how this defensive line is holding up. We came into the game talking about, as you see, N.D. Kalu got a little bit of a head start on it. How they're holding up because they're not able to rotate the guys that they'd like to. Trent Cole being down, and then, of course, Darwin Walker. And they're not going to be able to substitute a lot of guys and keep these players fresh up front.
First down and 5. Jones, not much. Jeremiah Trotter, the first to get his hands on him, no gain. Early game headliners while we've been preparing for this one at Texas Stadium. Tom Brady. No surprise to either one of us that the New England Patriots step up, even with all the injuries in Winfrey and St. Louis.
And now the Packers are 1-4, just like they were last year after 5 games.
2nd and 5. Bledsoe fires. Too high for Witten. He had Witten open. In that little area where there's sunlight, Witten couldn't stretch and make that catch. Pressure by Jeremiah Trotter on that 2nd and 5. Now it's 3rd and 5.
You know, and that's really the thing that Jason Witten does so well, and it's the first poor throw that we've seen from Drew Bledsoe so far. Jason Witten is very good when he's inside and working that 8 to 10 yard area. He turns around and gives Drew Bledsoe a big target, but that one just got away from Drew.
It would be a 44-yard field goal try from here. It's 3rd and 5, and it's Julius Jones to the edge. He's brought down from behind, but he's got another Dallas first down as Trotter got there too late.
Well, and this is what we've seen so many times already from Philadelphia. There's just no support on the edges. If you watch this out here, there's just no defender that's there to slow down Julius Jones. Jeremiah Trotter is late getting out on the edge. You wonder if he had contained, but whoever is responsible for contain, both on that play and other plays, they've not been able to get there to turn Julius Jones back inside.
Jones again, he gets to the 20. Nahani Jones on the stop, a gain of only 1.
You know, one of the things that's very demoralizing for a team, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles and you finally get a little bit untracked offensively and you're able to move the ball down the field, even though you didn't come away with a touchdown, you at least got on the board with a field goal, and now you kick off to the Cowboys and they come right back down the field and in position to at least match with another 3 points of their own and maybe a touchdown. And at some point, Philadelphia, if the Eagles are going to get back into this thing, they've got to be able to shut the Dallas Cowboys down.
So far, they haven't come close. 2nd down and 9, only on that 4th and goal from the 1. Bledsoe hits his receiver in stride. That's Anthony Thomas, who is active today after being a scratch the last couple of weeks. And he dropped it. In fact, I read where Anthony Thomas, Troy said he's very close, quote unquote, to having a discussion with Bill Parcells because he hasn't been activated. And I would love to be a fly on the wall when he comes knocking on Bill Parcells' door.
Well, and that's why I'm surprised that Anthony Thomas was activated today, because generally when someone challenges Bill Parcells in that fashion, they're going to find themselves over there on the pine.
They're down in 9. Thomas makes a good block. Witten makes the catch, breaks free, and it depends on the spot. It looks like they're going to mark Witten just shy of a first down. He broke through the tackle of Matt Ware, and on that play, Anthony Thomas threw a good block to give Bledsoe time for the throw.
Well, Jason Witten hard to bring to the ground, but Matt Ware needs to make that tackle. Now Bill Parcells is forced with another decision to make, and I think here you settle for the field goal.
I do too. You give the Eagles more luck in the game.
Yeah, and Anthony Thomas is the tailback.
Play action. Bledsoe. Polite. Touchdown, Dallas. You talk about a gutsy call on 4th down as Polite makes his first catch of the year count for 6 points.
Bill Parcells was criticized last week in the game against Oakland for not having Julius Jones in the game on 3rd and short. Now you're talking 4th and short. You got Anthony Thomas. Should have been an alert as far as maybe a play action pass. They get the ball to Lusaka Polite, and he's able to get it into the end zone. Offensive line doing a good job solidifying the protection when the Eagles brought the inside backers.
Polite last year was on the practice squad for Dallas. And with 5:22 left in the half, Dallas is doing to the Eagles what the Chiefs did to the Eagles last Sunday, of over 20 points. Bledsoe 14 of 19, 192 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Copper puts the wood to Dexter Wynn. An 18-yard return by Wynn, and now after trailing, and now Wynn comes off really hobbling. That looks bad. After trailing last week 24-6 at Kansas City, they trailed 24-3 here in Dallas, and I were able to score right before the half, and so this is important for Philadelphia to be able to move the football and get points as well. McNabb, Gordon started to run before making the catch.
Because the other part of that is if Philadelphia is unable to sustain a drive here, now you give the ball back to Dallas, a very hot offensive football team right now with plenty of time to go back and even extend their lead more. Well, you talk about Drew Bledsoe and the half that he's had, and the guy who's kind of gone underneath the radar screen is Julius Jones. He's off to his best start of the season as well, averaging 5 yards a carry, 60 yards already here in the first half.
Has his longest carry of the season at 25 yards. 2nd and 10. Blitz coming from Shanley. McNabb can't get it to Westbrook. Westbrook had a touchdown, but it went right through his hands, and it's 3rd and 10.
Wow, you just don't get many opportunities like this when you've got Brian Westbrook one-on-one. Look at the middle of the field. There's no middle safety, and if he catches the ball, it's a touchdown. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a touchdown, and it would have been a heck of a catch because, again, that's a ball that got away from Donovan. We saw hands in his face, but just not where Brian Westbrook could get a handle on it.
3rd down and 10. A blitz from Dallas. McNabb steps up and fires for a 1st down. Lewis. And Greg Lewis is really turning into a nice compliment for Terrell Owens from Donovan McNabb. Lewis has really stepped up.
Yeah, and you watch Donovan on this throw, and it looks like he's starting to feel a little bit better, too. I mean, he really steps into that one, and Greg Lewis makes a heck of a catch. He's not a real big guy, but he's able to get around Anthony Henry, the corner, and go up and make the grab. And good throw and catch there.
Greg Lewis, a street free agent from Illinois, locked into a long-term deal last year. Really didn't play much last year. Cowboys come on a blitz. McNabb's in big trouble, and down he goes. 2nd time today, Terrence Newman, the cornerback, was in there for the Cowboys, a loss of 6.
Number 41, Terrence Newman.
Now the Cowboys, they just come again with their zero blitz, no middle safety. Eric Abagu just pancakes Trey Thomas on his way to try to get pressure on Donovan McNabb. And Terrence Newman, I don't know if Donovan didn't see the blitz, because certainly no one should have been able to pick that up, but The Cowboys are challenging the Philadelphia Eagles wide receivers right now one-on-one, and the Eagles haven't been able to take advantage of it.
Second and 16. Pass is complete. Westbrook to the 49. The Eagles may have gotten away with a hold on that play. The completion is good for 11 yards.
I think Big Sean Andrews, he tackled him. He was clean by him, and the official was watching it. In his mind, it wasn't a hold. Good thing for the Philadelphia Eagles, because that was a pretty good game there.
It makes third down manageable.
Third down 5.
With the score being what it is, they might have to use 2 downs to try to get to 5 yards. McNabb trying to make something out of nothing, and down he goes. Third time today, 9th time of the season. Jay Ratliff was in there for Dallas. Greg Ellis as well.
You got to give these defensive backs for the Dallas Cowboys credit, because Donovan had some time to throw the football. He just couldn't find anybody. You got Shanley there on Terrell Owens, and they stick with him. And Donovan, no matter where he went, he couldn't find anybody. Roy Williams there with Westbrook, and just good coverage by the Cowboys secondary.
Creighton will take it from about the 12 and go nowhere. Good coverage downfield by the Eagles. Keith Adams.
Throughout this entire first half, Sean Payton, the offensive coordinator who calls plays, has done a heck of a job.
How's Dallas going to approach it? They're going to run it with Julius Jones. The play gets strung out, and Jones gets it up to the 9. Picked up 3. Michael Lewis on the stop. And Philadelphia will take a defensive timeout. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey there, Joe. For the second week in a row, the Eagles' vaunted defense, a very demoralized group after that last Cowboys touchdown. Eagles defensive coordinator Jim Johnson just stood at the edge of the bench area and glared at his players. You can always count on Brian Dawkins, though, to try to keep his teammates' spirits up. Specifically, he went around to his teammates and told them just to keep your heads up, guys. We're going to be okay. Joe, it sounds an awful lot about the report I gave you last week, but I promise you it's
put it up. And the pass broken up, and a flag. Lito Shepherd defending against Glenn. That would give Dallas a huge first down.
Pass interference. Defense number 26. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
You know, from here it looks like a pretty good call, Joe. You see the contact made prior to the ball getting there, and you know, Lito Shepherd is a heck of a player, and as we've mentioned, a Pro Bowl player and a guy who can cover a lot of people one-on-one, but he has certainly had his hands full here in the first half with Terry Glenn.
Now Dallas gets a fresh set of downs. Philadelphia has only 1 timeout left in the 2-minute warning. Glenn and Shepherd are matched up again at the top of your screen. Throw again, and Keyshawn Johnson sheds Sheldon Brown. But he went out of bounds. So he picked up another yard or 2, but did Philadelphia a favor by stepping out of bounds after gaining 8.
Well, after that first down, we saw Philadelphia call the timeout thinking that maybe they could stop Dallas and then get the ball back to their offense. Right now, Dallas certainly has to be thinking about going down and getting points of their own.
Is running. Dallas doesn't have to snap it. They get the first down anyway. Dallas could have let the clock wind down to the 2-minute warning, then run the play. Instead, time is stopped. 1:55 left. 2-minute warning in Dallas.
Why shouldn't they? Philadelphia hasn't been able to stop them yet.
The leaders, Bledsoe, his day. Julius Jones up to 69 yards, looking for his first 100-yard day on the ground. Bledsoe, the middle of the field wide open, and Bledsoe slides down 1.5 yards shy of a first down. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. Plenty of time left for Dallas. 2nd down and a yard and a half. Jones, 1st down again out to the 45. And now Dallas will spend a timeout.
It's an offensive attack of Philadelphia's, and they've done just as good a job on that side of the ball as what this offense has for Dallas here in the first half.
1 timeout left for the Cowboys. 1:20 on the clock, and the pass is out to Glenn. What a half for Glenn.
And Joe, I think right now, Lito Shepherd just doesn't really even know how to go about covering Terry Glenn. He's tried coming up and getting physical and pressing him. And when he tried that, Terry Glenn ran right by him for a touchdown. And now when he plays soft, he's not able to react fast enough to get there to contend the pass. And right now, Terry Glenn is just having his way.
One thing that stands out to me in this first half is the arm strength of Bledsoe. He can get it out to the sidelines still in a blink. Bledsoe with all day just throws it away. Outside of the pocket, no grounding. Curse had pressure. I mean, you can say the guy is what, in his 13th year. He's 33 years old. He is over 40,000 yards passing in his career. Became the 10th guy to do that in the first game at San Diego. But he's still got the fastball.
Yeah, he's got the fastball, and he's got a few other pitches in his arsenal as well. And here's a guy who really, if he couldn't have gone somewhere and been the starter, he was going to retire. And I think Dallas was the only team that gave him that opportunity to come in and be an uncontested starter to start the year.
Bledsoe. What a catch by Creighton. And Creighton fights forward for a 1st down. He can block, and the Cowboys will tell you he's got the best hands on the team. And he just showed it. What a catch.
Joe, I've just never seen an offense go through this. Not even last week against Kansas City. I've just never seen an offense just go through this Eagles defense like this.
Well, you know why? Because you used to be down on the field doing it. This is what it looked like when you played. To all of us at home watching on the couch, and Witten picks up another big chunk. 13 yards. And Dallas will take their final timeout.
Jason Witten lining up in the slot position, and now even he's getting into the act. I mean, they could have taken their pick as far as where they want us against them when they have brought the blitz.
Taking over for J.P. Lossman, who took over for Bledsoe. Blitz. Cowboys pick it up, and what a play by Semino. Semino was the only guy in position to make that stop, and he didn't miss. And now that the Cowboys are out of timeouts, they have to spike it with 18 seconds left.
Yeah, now with 18 seconds left and 3rd and 10, Drew Bledsoe is going to have to be very careful with what he does. And Julius Jones limping off the field in disgust. We'll find out how serious that is. But Drew Bledsoe's got to be very careful now with what he does, because if he throws it in the middle of the field and the clock is still running, there's a good chance they're not going to be able to get the ball off on a field goal attempt.
Because it is 3rd down, they'd be in a position where they couldn't spike it. So Witten's got to get out of bounds, and he does. It brings up 4th down, and it will bring the field goal pounded by the body of Semino. Now Cortez, a 33-yard try. And Jose Cortez is 2 for 2. Dexter Wynn bobbles it coming out of the end zone. And he can't get to the 15. So that leads us to our little on-camera moment. And Troy, I'll ask you the dumbest question in the history of television. What do the Eagles have to do to get back in this game?
Well, My question, how much time do we have for me to give an answer to that one?
Just make it simple.
Yeah, you know, I think defensively they have got to be able to get pressure on Drew Bledsoe and disrupt his time, and they've not been able to do that. And offensively, I can assure you there are going to be some opportunities for some big plays for them, and they just have to capitalize on them, and that's something they weren't able to do there in that first half.
We saw a chance for Westbrook during that first half that had 6 points written all over it. McNabb overthrew him just a little. Westbrook couldn't make the catch. And the Cowboys came back with a touchdown. First pass skips into Owens. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, well, the Eagles do not offer up Andy Reid if they are trailing, but in my travels, I was able to get the gist of things from some of the defensive players. And Troy, it's just like you said, got to get pressure on Drew Bledsoe. Talked to Bill Parcells as well at halftime. He said, we just executed great in the first half. He says, but I got a funny feeling this thing is far from over. Julius Jones, he says, is fine.
We saw Jones limp off at the end of the first half, so that's good news for the Dallas Cowboys. On 2nd down and 10, they try to run it. Westbrook tries to get small, and he pokes his way out to the 15. 3rd down coming up. Brady James on the tackle for the Cowboys, who put up 241 pass yards and 325 total yards in the first half on the Eagles.
There's teams that can play for 4 quarters and not put up that kind of yards. So for the Cowboys to do that against what we believe is a good defensive football team is really impressive. And you know, the reason Bill Parcells is not comfortable right now is because he told us he saw the second half of this Eagles-Chiefs game last week. That's still fresh in his mind.
Play clock is down to 4, 3. They just got it away. And on 3rd down, McNabb going for Lewis. No flag, incomplete, 3 and out. Anthony Henry was down there defending for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, that was one of those shots, but not necessarily one of them that should have been completed. A good call. Try to see if you can create something. Anthony Henry does a good job of getting turned and locating the ball, and just not much of a chance for a completion.
Dirk Johnson for the 5th time. Another beautiful punt. This guy's got a great leg. From the 31, it's Creighton. He's had a big day. Trying to add to it, gets to the 45 of Philadelphia.
It's gotten better, hasn't it?
I would say. But who am I? On 1st down, miscommunication, and Keyshawn Johnson, even when things don't go right, they're going right for the Dallas Cowboys because Johnson stopped, and we're going to get a penalty against the Eagles for an automatic 1st down and Lito Shepherd.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Lito Shepherd.
Illegal contact. Defense number 26. 5-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
I disagree with that call. Lito Shepherd's had a tough game today, but that was not a bad play. He's got 5 yards to where he can get physical with a receiver, and then after that period, you've got to let him loose, and I think he was well within the bounds of the rule.
Cowboys have scored on 5 of their 6 possessions. The other time they were stopped at the 1. On 1st down, Thomas. Minimal gain over the left side, and a flag comes in late.
Anthony Thomas.
Looks like it's against Dallas. Anthony Thomas, a guy with 2 1,000-yard seasons while with Chicago.
On the play. 2nd down.
So again, Trotter coming on a blitz. Cowboys pick it up. Glenn again on Shepherd. Incomplete. It was there, and Glenn had it go off his hands.
That's the 2nd time it looked like the exact same play that they ran there in the first possession, and the Eagles try to bring pressure. They go safety middle of the field. Now you're one-on-one again with Terry Glenn on Lito Shepherd, and Terry Glenn just drops the ball because it was a perfect throw by Drew Bledsoe, and Lito Shepherd might have gotten a hand on that ball, but it looked like Terry Glenn had it and just dropped it. I'm surprised that Jim Johnson has continually allowed Lito Shepherd to challenge Terry Glenn because they continually beat the coverage.
Yeah, and obviously by those numbers, they came in with the intent to pick on Lito Shepherd. Patrick Creighton with good blocking out in front of him. Has a first down for Dallas inside the Philadelphia 22. Sheldon Brown on the stop, and we can just stop it right here, and we can look at the block by Keyshawn Johnson. But Troy, what a game Sean Payton has called for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, and look at the block that Keyshawn makes. It's on Lito Shepherd, and he's unable to get off the block to squeeze that hole right there, which allows Patrick Creighton to pick up the yards. And yes, Sean Payton has done a great job mixing things up in this game today.
Tyson Thompson now from right here in Irving, Texas, is in the game, and Witten is overthrown.
You know, Sean Payton, when you talk about him, he was with the New York Giants and was the offensive coordinator when he called plays when they went on to play the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl, and just did a tremendous job with that offensive football team and the success that Jeremy Shockey had over the years. Of course, Kerry Collins played exceptionally well, and he was one of the first people that Bill Parcells contacted when he got the head job here in Dallas, and just a bright young football coach, and will be a head coach here real soon. In fact, he was offered that Oakland Raiders job when it came open a couple years ago.
Second down and 10, and this is Thompson. He's down inside the 20. Actually, for Sean Payton, his first experience at watching an NFL coaching staff came with the St. Louis Football Cardinals. Payton was the quarterback at Eastern Illinois University. That's where the Cardinals used to have their camp, and Payton was a ball boy for the Cardinals at the time.
He's got some years underneath John Gruden at Philadelphia. I mean, he's been around some awfully good offensive coaches that have helped influence his philosophy.
Third down and 8. Bledsoe with all day. Keyshawn Johnson incomplete and brilliantly covered by Rod Hood. For the first time, somebody in that secondary for Philadelphia steps up and makes a play.
Well, and they really needed it, too, because the worst thing that happened was Philadelphia offensively not being able to do anything. And now you give the ball back to Dallas, and they have a chance to come away with points. At least they were able to keep them from getting 7 points on that drive.
They force a 37-yard try for Cortez, who's hit from 28 and 33. Good snap, good hold. Another good kick. 3 for Win from the 2. Eagles need some lift, and Wynn won't give it to him. He's out to the 22. What's it going to take? 30-3, 11 and a half to go, third quarter. First down for the Eagles, who start with a run. Maybe try to get that phase of the game going. Hadn't worked so far. Westbrook picks up 2. L.J. Smith was back in there on that play for Philadelphia. He left early in the first half, rolling over that left ankle. But he's now back in the huddle for the Eagles, and then Julius Jones went down with Semino on his left leg. He limped off. Bill Parcells says he's fine, but he's been on the sideline limping around over there, muttering under his breath. And you know what Belichick does with injuries to the media. He learned from Bill Parcells, so we'll see if he comes back at all. 2nd and 8. McNabb all day to find Terrell Owens. Finally, they get it in his hands with a chance to make some moves in the open field. And Owens picks up 23.
It's one of the first times today that they've been able to take advantage of the coverage that Dallas has been running one-on-one on the outside receivers, and Terrell Owens working the middle of the field. And they need more of these types of plays, because not only do they now need to get down the field and score, but they need to do it in a hurry, because not only are they fighting the Dallas Cowboys defense, but now they're also playing against the clock.
Well, what starts that play towards success is the protection for McNabb. Had forever to find Owens, cutting across the field. Now McNabb gets flushed out. Ellis chasing him, and the pass into the turf. And McNabb is limping. That's as bad as we've seen McNabb move since he's had this sports hernia diagnosed and dropped onto the public. He came off that play looking terrible.
And it was because of the pursuit of Greg Ellis, who was able to get inside and then force him out of the pocket and made Donovan open that thing up. And when you do, now you're putting the strain in that lower abdominal area interest and maybe not go back with Coy Detmer.
Look at him move. Westbrook gets it. But all the Eagles, I'm sure, and Andy Reid are looking at is McNabb has struggled just to get the ball back to Westbrook.
Well, the one thing about it is it's going to be difficult, let's be honest, in order for Philadelphia to get back into this game and have a chance to win this game. And so you're faced with the decision, if you're Andy Reid, do we try to go with Donovan McNabb and give ourselves every opportunity to win this game, or maybe Coy Detmer's the answer. We protect Donovan McNabb, but maybe Coy Detmer, because he's healthy, maybe he's able to make some plays that Donovan McNabb cannot make right now.
It's 3rd down and 7. He's in trouble. Roy Williams, the safety. Ellis there again. And McNabb will limp off the field. We heard during our pregame show, Fox NFL Sunday, Terry Bradshaw talking with Donovan McNabb. McNabb admitting that he'll have to have surgery at the end of the year. Then Terry asked him, well, if you had it now, how long would it take you to get back after the surgery? He said 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, you're a sitting duck back there right now.
Creighton is waiting for the punt, takes it from inside the 15 and can get to the 21. So not only is it 30-3 Dallas, passing in HD and presented by DirecTV. Rethink TV. First down for Dallas. Handoff is to Thompson. Tyson Thompson, the rookie who wowed him during the preseason, gets 16. Coming up after football tonight, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim will try to end their division series against the New York Yankees as they try to force a Game 5 tomorrow night out in Anaheim. That's following this game. The Angels with 19 hits on Friday night, a team postseason record. We told you Washburn has been scratched from the start, and John Lackey will make the start. Bartolo Colon is out in California, along with Mike Mussina. The would-be Game 5 starter for the Yankees if the series goes that far. Thompson over the left side, and Tyson picks up 3.
You know, this Tyson Thompson was probably the most impressive rookie in training camp, and he caught Bill Parcells' attention along with the rest of this offensive staff and his ability to run the football. Last couple of weeks, he struggled in pass protection, and a couple of those really hurt this football team. But as far as pure running ability, he's a great changeup to Julius Jones. Not surprised to see him in the game right now.
See the final scroll across on your Fox box, and that game between the Braves and the Astros is now in the 17th inning, and Roger Clemens is pitching for Houston. Bledsoe throwing as he backs up, and a penalty flag on the coverage. Sheldon Brown and Keyshawn Johnson had some contact. We'll see if it's against Sheldon Brown.
Illegal contact. Defense number 24. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
I mean, my gosh, if that's not a hit to the helmet of the quarterback, nothing is. That draws a flag every time, but they missed it. Tyson Thompson fights his way to the 49-yard line of Dallas. Picked up 4.
You know, you watch this game and kind of how this whole thing's unfolded. And I'm just surprised with Philadelphia on both sides of the ball, but also on the defensive side of the ball. And I know they're without Darwin Walker, and I know Trent Cole is down, and I know Paul Grasmanis got hurt last week, but I've not seen people just physically dominate this group the way that they have. And it's rare that you see it, and Dallas is, not only have they done it, but they've been doing it on every single possession.
Almost every play. 2nd down and 6. There've been a couple of short runs mixed in there. This time Thompson gets 1. It brings up 3rd down. Great job today by this Cowboys offensive line. We talked about Marco Rivera being inserted the right guard spot. three-time Pro Bowler. Actually was coached by Andy Reid when he was a rookie with Green Bay in '96, and Reid coached the offensive line. And Rob Petitti, the rookie who's been struggling in pass protection. Granted, he's had some help today, but he's done a nice job. 3rd and 5. Blitz. And the pass to Glenn. The Cowboys beat the blitz again. They've done it all day. Talked about Rob Petitti, the rookie. 6'6", 325 out of Pitt. With music in his car CD, Kenny Chesney. No fraud there. Most intimidating teammate, Larry Allen. Just ask Jose Cortez. In another life, I'd be a police officer, and this is the worst job of kissing up in the history of the NFL. On a deserted island with Bill Parcells? How much fun would that be? Don't answer that. Oh, wow. Right up the gut. Thompson. So I guess the question for Rob Petitti would be Marianne or Bill Parcells. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, trying to get a gauge on Donovan McNabb. We're all noticing how he seems to be struggling physically. Donovan at one point nodded off the trainer, the head athletic trainer. Then Andy Reid went over to Donovan and said some things. But what we're not seeing so far today, Joe, is Koy Detmer warming up. I did catch sight of Terrell Owens tossing a not-so-pleasant look back at his quarterback, wondering maybe what is he doing?
Well,
back to you.
Yeah, in Pam, we saw a certain hop to the step of Detmer on that last possession for the Eagles when McNabb was limping around. But as you said, he has yet to warm up. Thompson is brought down just shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd and inches as Hollis Thomas makes the tackle, shoestring tackle for the Eagles.
Well, as far as whether or not Donovan McNabb should be playing, it's one thing if the defense had come out and had been able to stop the Cowboys and force them to punt and have a realistic enough amount of time on the clock to maybe do something. But the way this game is unfolded, I just don't see any way Philadelphia can get back into this thing. And that being the case, why would you then subject your franchise quarterback to more punishment? Because he has taken a lot of hits in this game.
3rd down and 1, and Bledsoe takes it for a first down. You just can't stop him.
Well, and when you say why would you subject your franchise quarterback to more punishment, you kind of beg to ask the question, why is Bledsoe still in the game running quarterback sneaks for first downs? I mean, they've done a heck of a job on that side of the ball, and I know Bill Parcells coming into this game really was a little uncertain as far as what his team was all about, and felt that today and then next week playing the Giants was going to be a pretty good barometer as to where his team's at. Well, he's got to feel pretty good right now.
3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Dallas showing no signs of giving the ball back to Philadelphia. More from Thompson. Over the right side, he picks up 1. So I guess it's not fair then to judge the report about Julius Jones, who had his best first half of the season. It's a 30-3 game. If his knee's banged up or his leg is injured or it's his left ankle, whatever it is, Bill Parcells said he's fine. But if he's not 100%, what would be the reason to run him back out there into the huddle?
And I think that we're done seeing him. I mean, he hasn't been out in the game yet. Since halftime, I would expect that he's done for the day. And a little bit unfortunate because here's a young runner who is yet to eclipse the 100-yard mark, and he certainly was on pace to do that.
2nd down and 9. Thompson cuts it outside. Cannot get around Brown. And he picks up only 1. So it brings up 3rd down. And you look at the offensive leaders scrolling across. Bledsoe 3 touchdowns. He's had a ton of time to sit back there in the pocket and find, for the most part, Terry Glenn, who has 7 catches, 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
And I'm not sure what Drew Bledsoe saw on film, but I know in talking with him on Friday, Joe, he said we're going to take some shots early on these guys. We think we can take advantage of some of the things that they do, and they certainly were able to do that.
61 plays of offense. Keyshawn Johnson, the ball comes free. It ends up in the arms of Sheldon Brown. The big hit, Brown the other way for a touchdown, and Philadelphia wondering if that will get them back in this game.
Well, it just might. I mean, they needed him last week in order to get back into it. This one's on Drew Bledsoe. He throws it out there to Keyshawn Johnson, and he just takes a big hit, gets the helmet on the ball. Lito Shepherd is the one who makes the hit. And then Sheldon Brown able to take it all the way in for the touchdown.
Sheldon Brown was a part of the comeback last week. He went 40 yards for a touchdown after an interception. Here's the hit by Lito Shepherd, and right there cleaning up at the end of the play is Sheldon Brown. It lands right in his lap.
Yeah, you saw the helmet and the shoulder. There was nothing really Keyshawn Johnson could do. As soon as he turned around, Lito Shepherd was hitting him.
It's a 20-point game. Still in the third quarter, a minute 12 left. And the turnover by the touchdown. We'll go back and take a look at it. But it's amazing for a team that's up 30-10 and doing what they're doing offensively. In the game that Drew Bledsoe is having as a flag comes in on this kick return, that this could happen on the sideline.
Yeah, and I don't know what was said, Joe, but something was said and Keyshawn didn't like it. So I don't know if Bledsoe then went to him after that play, and you know, it's be wrong for us to try to speculate, but clearly Keyshawn Johnson upset with whatever was said to him by Drew Bledsoe.
Then Bill Parcells got into it with Keyshawn Johnson, and his message was, we have to concentrate. Those two have been friends for a long time, and Keyshawn Johnson is under the Parcells protection plan, and he's trying to calm him down on the sideline.
And if there's one guy who can do it, it's Bill Parcells, because of the respect that Keyshawn Johnson has for him. And you're right, Bill Parcells is just saying, hey, relax, we've got a game to play here, we got to remain focused.
Now the Cowboys have to go back on offense. Here comes a blitz from Philadelphia. Tyson Thompson gets one over the right side, and let's go back to the play.
Yeah, right here you got Lito Shepherd, and he's going to draw back like this, so it's one-on-one, and then you're going to have Keyshawn coming out to the flat, and he's just going to leave Terry Glenn alone. So you see him there, he lets Terry Glenn go and comes up and makes a play. He had safety help, and that's what allowed Lito Shepherd to come up and put the big hit on him. Of course, Drew Bledsoe kind of leads him out a little bit into the coverage, but sometimes you do that, and Keyshawn Johnson really couldn't do anything about trying to hold on to the ball because of the hit that he took.
Second down and 9. Out of the backfield, it's Thompson. Stays in bounds, picks up 3. Third down and long coming up for Bledsoe. But to go back to the play, if you want to assign blame for a guy, and I know it's tough to do from up here, but you're a quarterback, what would be the argument on the part of Keyshawn Johnson on that throw from Drew Bledsoe?
Well, and I'm just thinking that something had to have been said, because.
And then the question is what happens offensively with McNabb at quarterback of Coy Detmer. Bledsoe fires, and the pass incomplete. Creighton, the intended receiver. And just to talk again, I mean, we've got Donovan McNabb down there and everything he's been through with Terrell Owens. That happens on the sideline. How does a quarterback handle that kind of a confrontation with a guy on your own team?
Well, it's a little baffling as far as what happened there with Drew Bledsoe and Keyshawn Johnson. I do know this. It's a very emotional game. You know, tempers flare, things are said, but that's all within the framework of trying to go out and win a football game. So I certainly wouldn't read too much into this.
Ugly punt, and Dexter Wynn on the run. Hauls it in. Good field position for Philadelphia. They'll start with it at their own 45, but there's a penalty flag down on that punt.
During the kick, holding. Receiving team number 59. 10-yard penalty. Philadelphia keeps the ball. First down.
They get Mike Labinjo for a hold, so that takes away that good field position. Moments ago, Bledsoe coming up, patting Keyshawn on the back, trying to smooth things over.
Men love trucks. Chevy trucks. Why? Because when the pavement ends, so do the excuses. Enter the 2006 Silverado Z71. with off-road tuned suspension. And unlike Ford or Dodge, an automatic rear locker that lets you grip.
Donovan McNabb and how he gets around. Really limping on that last series. Steps into the throw and overthrows Greg Lewis. It's been a frustrating day for Donovan McNabb. He has been under pressure all day. The defense for Dallas has played their best game of the season. McNabb has been sacked 3 times, and they had a chance for a touchdown there, knocked away by Brady James. Donovan McNabb slamming the ball into the turf after one of the 3 sacks. Arizona with a 3-point lead at home over Carolina. Arizona trying to win 2 in a row, and Indy leading at San Francisco big. Over the middle, right through the hands of Westbrook. Game break time. Here's JB back in Los Angeles.
All right, Joe Buck, take a look here at Denver Mile High. It's Tatum Bell, just 7 carries, but guess what?
All right, JB, 3rd down and 10 here, and this crowd climbs back into it. Pass complete to Terrell Owens. Can't get the first down as Newman rides him out. And a 3-and-out for the Eagles.
And the Cowboys, Joe, have not done anything really sophisticated defensively in how to stop the Philadelphia Eagles. They're just putting 8 guys up at the line. They're playing everybody one-on-one. That time they put Brady James, the linebacker, on Brian Westbrook, and they got Terrence Newman on Terrell Owens. And so far, the one-on-one matchups, Dallas has been able to win those.
That is the 5th 3-and-out today for the Eagles offense. Keith Adams makes the tackle for the Eagles. These days, it's like mid-80s. Washington, the Giants, Philly, Dallas, all good. And if you ask Philadelphia what they think about the Dallas Cowboys, they have to be impressed with what they've seen today. Offensively, defensively, special teams. Up by 20 on 1st down. They hand to Thompson. He picks up 3 just to clean up maybe for the 3rd time. Why potentially would Keyshawn Johnson be as upset as he was on that throw, completion, then the hit and fumble?
Well, the only thing I can figure, Joe, is if Drew Bledsoe didn't say anything, Keyshawn Johnson going out here into the flat, it's a rolled corner. And as a quarterback, you try to protect your wide receiver. And what I mean by a rolled corner is he has safety help. And so he can drive on that ball and put a pretty good hit on a receiver. And receivers don't like that. So I would say either Drew said something or Keyshawn was upset that Drew led him into a big hit.
It seems to have been smoothed over. How about the hole opened up for Thompson? I tell you, this rookie, who, as I said, is the first Cowboy to grow up in Irving, hits the hole hard. He's got a good burst.
And that's the thing that the coaches were most impressed with in training camp when he caught their attention, was just his ability to get going up the field. And he's like shot out of a rocket. Of course, when you're running in holes like that, it's easy to pick up a lot of yards.
Almost lost the football, hung on, and now he's up to 53 yards on the day. 12 and a half to go. Another 1st down for Dallas. They have 27 1st downs today. Thompson, he'll be sore tomorrow. The ball comes out, and they're going to give it to Philadelphia. The ruling is that Thompson's knee wasn't down, and Bill Parcells is going to throw the flag immediately. The ruling on the field is, as Patterson comes away with the ball, it's a fumble.
Fumble, the ball was loose before the runner was down.
It looked like he was down at first glance, and his knee was down.
Well, his knee was down, but there had been no contact, so
you've got the hand on the back and one on the ball from Patterson. A challenge from Dallas. We'll get the call when we come back.
I promise.
I promise.
Chevy promises to keep building most dependable, longest lasting trucks on the road.
For the touchdown by Brown, his 2nd touchdown in as many weeks. Now they almost get a fumble. But Thompson ruled down by contact, and it's 2nd and 11. Thompson again. Cuts it upfield and gets it out to the 40. Pickup of 6 for Thompson. It'll be 3rd down for Dallas. A complete wrap-up of the day around the NFL. The OT is coming up right after this game. After this game and before baseball. Game 4 of that division series between the Angels and the Yankees. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have sound from winning locker rooms, interviews, highlights, any controversial plays. They get caught up by keeping it right here. It's 3rd down and 5 for Dallas. And now Anthony Thomas is in the backfield for the Cowboys. Sam Rayburn came across. Was he drawn off?
Encroachment. Defense number 91. 5-yard penalty. Results in a 1st down.
And I think, Joe, this is one of those games that if you're Andy Reid, you don't even come in and look at the tape on Monday, and you just burn it, because Dallas Cowboys have 422 yards of offense to only 108 yards for the Philadelphia Eagles. And so this is a collective effort. You certainly cannot point to the offense and say it's their fault. You certainly can't just point to the defense and say that it's their fault, because neither unit did a very good job.
They've taken the 1st down away from Dallas. The 5-yard penalty brought the ball up just shy of the 45-yard line. And now Bill Vinovich is going to go over to the sideline and talk to Bill Parcells. Initially he said 5-yard penalty. The result is a 1st down. Now they've got 3rd down on the down box. And it appears to be 3rd down and inches for Dallas. And when I say inches, I mean an inch. Anthony Thomas is the tailback with Polite in front of him. And again, Bledsoe will keep it and get the 1st down. On a scale of 1 to 10, Troy Aikman, where did you rank the quarterback sneak in your day?
It's a good question, Joe. I didn't rank it very high because we didn't even have it in our game plan until my 7th year in the National Football League. We just didn't run it. Norv Turner was my offensive coordinator, and then Ernie Zampese, and they just did not believe in the quarterback taking any unnecessary hits.
No wonder you're still dear friends with Norv Turner.
Well, yeah, and let me just tell you this. If I had a sports hernia because they didn't want the quarterback taking hits, I don't think they would have ever let me out on the field the way that they have Donovan McNabb.
Right. And that'll be another topic of discussion all week in Philadelphia. Look at Thompson hit the hole hard and pick up another 1st down. Well, you see that Houston in 18 innings, the longest postseason baseball game. Previous record was 1986 Mets and Astros, 16 innings. They go 18, and it's now Houston and St. Louis in the LCS. Who will join the White Sox in the ALCS? The Angels lead the division series over the Yankees 2-1. John Lackey on short rest against Sean Chacon. You see their numbers from the regular season, and that's after the OT right here on Fox. The Yankees would not even be in the postseason if not for Sean Chacon. And John Lackey had 199 strikeouts during the regular season on his way to 14 wins. Thompson just kind of sits down at the line of scrimmage, picks up half a yard.
And what a different feel these baseball playoffs are going to have without the Red Sox, who are already eliminated. And then, in fact, if Anaheim goes on to beat the New York Yankees.
And I think that's obviously a distinct possibility with where the Angels sit. They're up. They're coming off a rain out yesterday. There's a former Yankee farm, Andrew Henson. And now they've got a rested bullpen, and that's really what Mike Scioscia leans on from really the 5th inning on.
So I'm going to have to dust off the rally monkey again.
The front runner that
I had the rally monkey a couple years ago.
I know. In 2002 when they won it all.
Last year I was a Red Sox fan.
I know. You're amazing. No pride. Let's go for a baseball highlight in the game break, JB.
All right, Joe, this is yours all day long.
The longest baseball playoff game to Jim Johnson. This has been the longest regular season football game.
That's for sure. Third down and 11. Bledsoe just all day. He's had all day, and he hits Witten for another Dallas first down.
Yeah, I mean, generally, when you're playing against the Philadelphia Eagles as a quarterback, you're going to take a lot of hits. There's going to be free guys coming up in your face, and that's just not been the case. Not that the Eagles haven't tried to do that. The Cowboys have just been quick to respond, whether that's by blocking them up or getting the ball out, but they have most definitely just taken advantage of these one-on-one opportunities, and that's really what the game comes down to. Who's able to win the one-on-one matchups and who's able to win most of them? Well, Dallas has won all of them.
7 to play. Another blitz. Cowboys block it up, and Thompson gets it down to the 27, picked up 5. More early game headlines. The Packers score 52 points on New Orleans, their most since 1983. Who was a quarterback then? Lynn Dickey? Adam Vinatieri, 19th career game-winning field goal. And the Texans are the only winless team in the NFL with a record of 0-4.
You know, that surprises me with that Houston team. I thought a couple of years ago they were close to being able to do some good things. David Carr, a good young quarterback, and for whatever reason, they've just not been able to put it together.
2nd down and 5. Thompson to the 26. Now the ball comes out. The Eagles say they have it, but the officials have made no call yet. The Eagles are frustrated to learn that it's 3rd down.
Well, I don't think you can say enough about the job that this offensive line has done for Dallas, and you got Larry Allen there just blowing up Michael Lewis. I mean, this secondary's had problems covering people, and now you got Larry Allen, the all-pro offensive guard, taking the punishment out on you.
Andy Reid is trying to challenge this play. He was ruled down by contact, but clearly the knee of Thompson was down. And right now they throw the flag onto the field.
Timeout.
And we'll take a timeout here in Dallas.
Pro football.
He was ruled down by contact.
The runner's knee was down before he lost possession of the ball. Ruling on the field stands. Philadelphia's charge. Their first timeout.
So in the end, it just causes Philadelphia to lose a timeout. And it brings up 3rd down and 4 at the Philadelphia 26. And Thompson, he comes up a little gimpy. He's lost the ball twice on this drive, and he's getting a call from, it's probably Parcells calling him from some other part of the sideline. Hello, this is Bill Parcells. If you fumble again at the end of a game up 20, you'll never play again.
Well, you can bet. I mean, Bill Parcells is not one of these guys who overlooks things just because they've got the game in hand. And Tyson Thompson, if he hadn't already heard about it, he's certainly going to on Monday.
So it's 3rd down and 4. Thomas goes nowhere, and the defense for Philadelphia holds. Dhani Jones on the tackle. And we need to salute the offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I think you have to, because this was somewhat of a maligned group coming into this game because of their performance and the lack of running, you know, by Julius Jones coming in. And they've just done a terrific job. Not only have they been able to get the running game going, but as we've talked about, just a super job protecting Drew Bledsoe and allowing him to operate within a pretty clean pocket. And it's a good group, and they're starting to find themselves.
Cortez will try a 45-yarder. He's 3 for 3. He is confident and 4 for 4. Jose Cortez rounding out a terrific day. 33-10 here in Dallas. 4:39 left. In questions from the media about what happened on the sideline in the third quarter.
You think that'll be talked about?
Oh my gosh. Terrell Owens is probably smiling about that 1 point over on the Philadelphia sideline. Let somebody else have a turn talking about that.
That's all he has to smile about. You know, I'll tell you, when you look at Philadelphia in today's game, the only thing that they did was when Dallas kind of gave it to them. You know, I mean, Sheldon Brown's able to run that one back for a touchdown, but that was just clearly on Dallas. And a little surprised now to see Donovan McNabb going back in the game.
I am too. I mean, you can't justify, I don't think, down 33-10 with 4.5 minutes left. Guy who was severely limping 2 series ago, running him back out there in a position where he's going to have to throw the ball. I mean, if you have him in there, you want to come back in the game.
Well, he didn't even have his chin strap on. I don't think he was expecting to go in and play.
I don't understand this at all. And if he's in there, Troy, just to hand off to Westbrook, let Detmer do that. Why even risk McNabb getting pounded again?
Yeah, I'm with you. I know sometimes these coaches, they want to give a message to the rest of the team and say, hey, if I'm going to put the franchise quarterback out there, then, you know, that's my commitment to you. But, you know, you got to get, Detmer hasn't played a lot of football in recent years either.
This is Brown, the rookie, and he is driven into the turf by Terrence Newman. Reggie Brown makes his 6th catch of the year, and he'll remember the hit he got from Newman, a gain of only 3. But the phone lines will light up on talk shows across Philadelphia as to why McNabb. They were already talking, Troy, when they announced that he had a sports hernia, that he should just get it done, let Detmer run the team, and get ready for the push for the playoffs. And now to have him in this game, he completes it to L.J. Smith, a gain of 1, and it's another 3 and out, the 6th of the day for the Eagles. You know, what are they doing?
Well, there's nothing but frustration right now on everybody's part with Philadelphia. And if you play in this game long enough, you're going to have days like this. And the best thing that you can do is just acknowledge we're not going to win this game. Let's put our other guys in. Let's regroup. And let's start focusing right now on next week. Of course, they've got to bye next week.
And that's part of it. I mean, you have a week off. You've got a week for McNabb to rest up. You heard him talk to Terry Bradshaw before the game. He said, I will have to have surgery at the end of the year. If I had surgery, Terry asked him, how long would it take you to recover, do you think? He said 4 to 6 weeks. And now with an off week coming up, why he's back out in the game at all is beyond me, at least. I don't want to speak for you.
No, it is for me as well when you're talking about a game that's over. And I really believe that when you're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that you expect to be in the playoffs at the end of the year, then you want to get a guy like Koy Detmer as much playing time as you can, because he's not played a lot of football over the last couple of years. This is a great opportunity to allow him to make some of those throws.
This is Thomas, and Anthony picks up a couple. Now Detmer starts to loosen.
I don't know if that necessarily means anything, but
yeah. 3 minutes left, and Philadelphia, I guess, is going to call a timeout, down by 23 points. Fox NFL Sunday, next Sunday, the Giants here in Dallas is the featured game early. You'll be here with Pam Oliver, and Dick Stockton will be standing here next to you. So I know you guys will welcome Dick, and good luck to Dick with you, Troy. And let's talk about the NFC East.
Well, I want to know, do you miss us when you're gone?
No.
Oh.
No, I do, yeah. I do. I miss you, but I'll call you, and we'll write and email, and it'll be fine. I'll only be gone
because we have a good time when Dick joins us.
I know you do. It scares me. I know Washington's playing out in Denver, and I haven't seen that score in a while. A lot of people don't believe that Washington is for real at this point in the season. They're down, there it is, 21-10, halfway through the fourth quarter. Now you got Bledsoe on the other side. You can make the case he shouldn't be in for Dallas. But leaving that alone for a minute, you've got the Giants with the progress that Eli Manning has made. They're 3-1 off this week. You got the Eagles. You think they're going to be good all year. And now Dallas, with what they've done here against the Eagles. This looks to be a 4-team race for the regular season.
Well, this game here today certainly tightens things up within the NFC East when you're talking about Philly and Dallas at the end of this, both being 3-2. You know, as far as Washington goes, I mean, this is a team that was averaging 14 points a game and was 3-0, and so the jury was out on them a little bit. Had they have been able to go into Denver and beat them, I think then they gather everybody's attention and say, we're for real. Of course, the New York Giants, as you talked about, the way that they're playing right now, the development of Eli Manning, the Dallas Cowboys host them next week here, another big game for them. And if they're able to then beat the Giants, I mean, this whole NFC East thing gets really interesting.
And then the other X factor in this is the long-term health of Donovan McNabb. The Eagles are playing only their 5th game of the year. He was obviously injured to another degree in this game. We haven't seen him move around with this sort of pain since that sports hernia was diagnosed. Tyson Thompson takes it over the right side, and that'll bring up 4th down. It's 21-13 now, I'm told, Denver over Washington. But you know, I don't know how much you're going to be able to look at the quotes after this game on the part of the Eagles and Donovan McNabb in particular and gauge how that groin and that sports hernia is feeling. The proof is how he played here today, and in the second half it looked like he tweaked that even more.
Yeah, I agree. And then you look at the schedule that they have, and you know, of course, the bye next week, that's going to help Donovan. But then you know, that's a pretty tough run right there when you're talking about the Chargers and then Denver and Washington. Of course, then they play Dallas again. And you know, this is a team coming into this game over the last 3 games had averaged 475 yards of offense. And here today, the Cowboys held them to 115 yards. Hard to imagine.
It really is. They came in the #1 offense in the NFL, and now finally Coy Detmer will come into the lineup for Philadelphia. The game summary: passing yards, first downs, 31 first downs on the part of the Cowboys. McNabb, his day, 131 yards. Owens with 4 catches, 46. And it's Terry Glenn, 7 catches, 100-yard day, and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Well, and we talked about it coming into the game, Joe, and this Eagles team is still, in my opinion, the team to beat in the NFC. But they have got to find a way to come out and play better earlier in games. It happened to them again today, and they just weren't ever able to get on track. But you can't constantly.
Number 41, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
You can't constantly come into a game and spot an opponent 10, 17 points and expect to be able to get back in it and win games.
Steven Spock guilty of the false start, so Coy Detmer will be there to hand off. And Jerry Jones is talking to Keyshawn Johnson, and Peerless Price has been critical of the way he hasn't been used. So far he has 1 catch for -1 yard, and he was inactive yet again today. But they're all smiles over on that sideline today for good reason. The only blemish on this day for the Dallas Cowboys was that ugly moment between Drew Bledsoe and Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, and I can assure you that after the game, there's not going to be any issues there either. And you know, to go back to Peerless Price in that situation, I can assure you also that Bill Parcells won't be having to answer any questions about how they're using Peerless Price after the way that the Cowboys were able to go out and throw the football today with Keyshawn Johnson and Terry Glenn and Jason Witten and the rest of them.
Second down and 15. Owens, his 5th catch, picks up 4. 2-minute warning here in Dallas. 1:57 left. Dallas on their way to a 3-2 start.
Fox NFL Sunday, sponsored by you.
We welcome a new audience. It's 3rd down and 11. Steven Spock, a backup tight end, is corralled by Brady James. He can't get a first down. It's 4th down. And we have a new audience. If you're just joining us, you look at the score and you might be surprised if you haven't followed what's happened here at Texas Stadium during the course of the day. A 23-point lead and an assured victory now for the Dallas Cowboys. Each team will leave this game 3-2. A big day offensively, defensively, special teams, and a hold on 4th down to give Dallas the ball back. So Dallas will take over at the Philadelphia 35. And Troy, Bill Parcells last year didn't like his defense. They bring in free agents. They draft heavy for their defense. He didn't like his running game at the start of this season. He gets a big divisional win, and within that win, his defense played great, and the running game for Dallas cranked out 169 yards. That's big for this Cowboy team.
There's no question that Bill Parcells has got to feel awfully good with this victory here today, because he knows what Philadelphia has. He knows how good they are and how they have dominated the NFC East. And this was a big measuring stick for him. And in addition to the veteran players, Joe, that he brought in to be a part of this organization, he also brought in some young players through the draft. DeMarcus Ware, Marcus Spears, and several other players that have contributed. This is a young football team, and they're only going to get better as they move through the year.
Tony Romo is now in a quarterback. You look at the standings with the Giants having their bye week now. Washington, they already had it. They're trailing out in Denver by 8 points the last time we checked. And for the Eagles, they've now lost the game before the bye week in 4 of their last 5 years. So they will have extra time to chew on this throttling they got at the hands of the Cowboys. Romo takes a knee.
And the good news for Philadelphia is, on the flip side of that, they've been very good under Andy Reid coming off of the bye. And so playing San Diego, a very good football team, that should bode well for Philadelphia.
Bill Parcells made Drew Bledsoe the first overall pick when the two were in New England. And now they meet up in Dallas. And Bledsoe, the 8th quarterback to try to guide this team since Aikman left. And they have finally found their guy. We'll wrap it up here on the other side of the break. Then the OT coming to you before baseball tonight on Fox. Take a break. More from Texas Stadium after this.